Hello, everybody. It is I, the crap artist, here in the even more overstuffed art room. Um, I've got a bunch of projects due and a trip coming up, so there's a lot of stuff going on back there. Don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to me. Um, anyway, I'm here with another Tales from the Flea Market. This one is entry 5, and I have no idea what to title it because it's just fucking weird. Just weird. So Sunday during the lull in the afternoon, it's football season. On Sundays, we get this really long dead zone period where nobody comes in because they're all getting ready to do their tailgating and their game, and then it's football and it's Baltimore. That's all. So during this part of the day where absolutely nobody is around, except for other vendors, and they're all doing their own things, I had this really odd couple come in. Um, I assume they were Latino or South American, if you will, um, because of their complexion, but they seem to speak pretty fluent English amongst themselves or between themselves. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, when they walked in, the man went right over to my weird little junk clearance table where I have all of the resin molds I don't want to use and weird doll parts and bits and bobs and keychains and really, really silly children's things. He went right to that, and she went over to my jewelry counter. And the first thing that she picked up to look at was my bottle of hand sanitizer, which is kind of scummy, covered in paint and stuff, because I use it to clean my brushes once in a while. Um, and just an old plastic bottle full of hand sanitizer. And she goes, "Oh, how cute." And then puts it back down. She doesn't look in the case. She doesn't take any time to look in the case. And then she moves toward the back of my stall. And while she's doing that, the man moves from the junk area to my bookshelf and the cabinet, more specifically the cabinet underneath the bookshelf. It's like an armoire or something. I don't know what they're called. But anyway, I keep my extra purses and shower curtains and stuff in there. Everything that's in there is already on display. And he opens it, and of course, all the junk falls out. And I say, "Sir, none of that stuff is for sale. It's all just overstock. Everything that's in here is on the wall over here and outside of the booth. They are my shower curtains." And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then they both move over to the t-shirts, but they don't seem to really be looking at the graphics on the shirts. They're just like going through and seeing, oh, black shirt, black shirt, black shirt, not paying attention really. And then the woman moves over to the back wall where I keep my earrings and enamel pins and my ink pens and stationery and stuff. But she's not looking at any of that stuff. She goes right to the area below eye level in the small white shoebox bins that I keep my overstock of enamel pins and earrings in. And she proceeds to open that and pull zip tops out. And I say, "Ma'am, please don't do that. Those are not for sale. Everything in those boxes is on the wall on this display and in these 2 books." And she says, "Oh, okay." But she walks away from that and doesn't look at the displays or in the books. She just walks away from it. And she goes towards her partner. And her partner is standing in front of the area in my shop that I call the invisible corner. And I have most of it blocked off with a large corner display and a standing, like, I want to call it the cage wall, but it's got wheels and I have shelves on it and a bunch of metal signs, like movie signs and comic book signs, so on, like disc plates. Anyway, he pulls the display to the side and proceeds to walk behind the counter and pick up a very, very heavy half-painted vase that I have not gotten time to finish yet. Look at it for 1 second and put it back down. And then he goes to the shelf that I keep my flow paints on, moves the little Sailor Moon tapestry to the side, and reaches his arm all the way to the back of the shelf, as if he knows exactly what color he's looking for and where to find it. And I have to get up out of my spot again and say, "Sir, none of that stuff is for sale. It is my art supplies that I use to make these paintings over here." And I point up on my wall at my array of flow paintings and this and that array. But he does not look up. He doesn't look at them. He just says, "Oh, sorry." And then they come together, the man and woman come together, look at each other, and just walk out. They just walk out. They don't say goodbye, anything. They just walk out. And I gotta tell you, I've seen a lot of shit. I've been working flea markets and swap meets and conventions and music festivals since 2007, and I have seen a great deal of shit. But I have never in my life come across two wild alien NPCs like that. And I have no idea what to think. No idea what to think. The only thing I can do now with this information and this odd exchange is to get a child lock for the bottom cabinet of my bookshelf and a do not open sign, and also little signage for the overstocked pin bins that say do not open, everything's on display, and some sort of something else to deter people from going past the invisible corner. I don't even know why people would want to. It's just bins and paint bottles and doesn't really look like anything but a mess if you really look at it. I don't understand. I don't understand. If anybody has any input or weird stories they want to tell about their retail adventures, I'd love to hear them in the comments. So, yeah, that's my story. Entry 5, Tales from the Flea Market.